Welcome to the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Get in on the conversation. Call 1-877-669-1292.
And I'm Howie Silbiger. Welcome to the program, The Howie Silbiger Show, heard right here on the True Talk Radio Network. If you are listening, you could call in. The numbers to call, 1-877-669-1292. That's 1-877-669-1292. If you want and you're watching online, you could type into the chat box, and I will be more than happy to respond to you in the chat box on Twitter, or on Facebook, or on any of the other services that you are part of. Any of the other services that you are watching this show on, I will be more than happy to listen to you and to read your comments and to respond to anything that you have to say. Regarding the topic that we're talking about. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about what we're talking about. I have, there's no question in my mind that people are going to want to talk about what I'm talking about tonight, because we are talking about the American election. And anytime I say we're talking about the American election, people go nuts. We want to talk about the American election. We want to talk about how horrible a person Donald Trump is. We want to talk about how great of a person Joe Biden is. We want to talk about how horrible a person Joe Biden is and how great of a person Donald Trump is. This is all I hear, and it's all I've heard for the last little while doing this show and basically in life. I mean, who hasn't heard nothing but talk about the American elections in their daily life for the last who knows how long? It's permeated society. It's permeated the way society talks and the topic of conversation. And I don't mind getting into stuff that everybody's talking about. Usually we try to talk about stuff nobody's talking about, but in this case here, the election is in just a couple of days, so I think it would be prudent and smart of us to actually talk about the election. So if you want to get involved in a conversation, you want to be part of this, you could give us a call, 1-877-669-1292. Type into the chat box on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I am pleased and proud and happy, and we were just talking about it. I mean, it's been 7 years since he joined the show. My friend and the producer of this show, Mr. Sheldon Eric Freed, is joining me right now. Hello, Mr. Freed. And
hello, Mr. Silbiger.
It is really hard to believe it's been 7 years since you joined the show.
It's unbelievable. It goes by so fast. It really goes by so fast.
It really is unbelievable. But I'm happy that you're on the show. I'm really happy about it. But it's really unbelievable. It's been that long.
You know, it seems like only yesterday, you invited me to come by at our former studios.
Yeah.
And actually asked me to be the producer and actually asked me to be part of the show. And it was about a month after when I was let go from Bell Media. And it was like just an amazing thing. And just the challenges. And I tell you, the highlight of all the stuff that I had here at True Talk Radio was the tremendous laughs that we would give each other. Like the tremendous laughs, the stories that you would tell me, some on, some off the air, some of the things, and I'll tell you something, it's like a gift. The thing is for people to have fun whatever you're doing. Especially this is not a job, it's a passion, and it's not that you're getting paid.
Well, we're not getting paid for this at all. So
yeah, so it's all passion.
Yeah.
You've been doing it now. You've been telling me off air for 23 years.
Yes, sir.
And so obviously you love every single minute of it. I know there's days you've had rough rides, but don't we all in the media? And it's just amazing. We've covered so many different events. We've covered so many different debates. You asked the hard questions. You got the facts. You were very unbiased in your questioning. And I think at the same time, It is something to reflect on the unbiased that you are, especially when it comes to moderating debates. And that is something that's a rarity these days in media that you hear.
Well,
you watch,
we see
you
that
read.
during the this election campaign, the American election campaign. The bias of the media has been a thorn in the side of anybody who respects journalism. I mean, I've been watching, and I've been actively pro-Trump only because he's the president, and I feel that the president of the United States has gotten a bad rap. He's gotten a really, really bad deal since he was inaugurated. So I've been pro-Trump solely because of that. I don't actually like the guy. I never actually liked the guy. I didn't like him before he was president. I don't like him as president. I like some of his policies, but I think that, that he's a buffoon. And I've said this many, many times. But I've had to staunchly come out and support the president because the bias against him was so unfair. And the media bias against him, which continues till today, is so unfair and so wrong that I've had no choice but to come out and support the president. And it kind of makes me a little sad that I've had to do that because I've never had to do that for any other president. I've covered what, 4 presidents over the course of hosting this show, and I've never had to actually jump in and actually defend the president because of the unfairness of the media and the bias of the media and the way they're covering him. It's just been unbelievable.
I think the biggest thing is, and I've said it before and I said it again, that media is the role of media, the way I would like to see it back to the original roots when you and I first started getting into media, is not to back a political candidate, not to back a political party. The owners to keep their hands off, and for media to do unbiased reporting and ask the hard questions no matter which party, which president, which prime minister, which political leader. The role in media is to get the facts. Keep your biases out and ask the questions that you're supposed to ask. And that's the biggest.
But you and I both know that that's not the way the media is working today.
No, and I'm really turned off. And I said this to you off air. I said every single election, may it be provincial, federal, and now the U.S. election, I've been so turned off. It's getting me more and more turned off politics, because instead of political leaders debating the issues, I mean, I don't expect everybody to agree on everything, and neither do you, and neither does most people. But at least people should respect the views of the other person and at least debate the issues, not character assassination, assassinate the political leader or their families. I'm sorry, that's way over, and I don't like the way what media has turned out, the way they've done it in this election and the way they've done it in elections past for a while. And yes, I don't see that media is going to come around to their senses. And when I was even watching highlights of the debate between Trump and Biden, when Biden had to tell Trump to shut up, when they were taking real pot shots at one another, people lead by example. People, especially kids that are growing up, and let's say they want to be in the political system, they want to go into the political arena. What type of an example is this setting? Now,
what kind of normal person would want to go into the political arena today?
That's for sure.
You really have to have a death wish. You have to have some kind of a wish for harm to your family or harm to yourself. I mean,
exactly. Look, even when you were running for municipal politics, and it was a mudslinging there too, and it was just it's horrible.
It really is.
It's really, really, and you know what?
And you know what? When I ran for municipal politics, and it was a mudslinger, and the candidate that was running against me played a dirty, dirty game, and it turned me off politics, took me off municipal politics altogether. I stopped being involved in municipal politics after that.
Yeah.
Because it just turned me off. I said, if that is what's going to happen to my reputation, if that's what's going to happen to me, then I have no interest at all in being involved in politics. Yeah. I could discuss politics. I understand politics. I have a degree in politics, and I could talk about politics all day. We could get up here on a show. We could speak for hours about politics. but I won't run for politics because of how how my opponent tried to damage my reputation and damage the reputation of my family. Now, taking that into account, imagine on a national scale like the President of the United States and how badly these guys' reputations and families are being damaged. It's just crazy that people decide that this is what they want to do with their lives.
It's a big, big role, and it's a big commitment. And once you cross that line, there's no getting back to it, because Trump's life will never be the same. Let's say, for example, Biden wins. Trump's life will still never be the same, because he's been under a lot of scrutiny, under a lot of controversy. Now, as per previous discussions you and I have had, Howie,
yeah,
one thing goes for sure. I'm for equal treatment to media, no matter who is running. So whether or not it's Trump, whether or not it's Biden, whether or not it was Obama, whether or not it was Clinton, whoever.
Why do you think, Sheldon, that the media got to this point? How do you think we got here?
I think because it's one word only. It's
Yeah.
called sensationalism.
Okay, so
It's
just
called
trying to sell more
number
papers,
one.
trying to get more eyeballs. Is that it?
Exactly. And ratings. That's what it is. Because everything, it's about the ratings game. It's about the more people watching. And if they can get more people watching, they cross their boundaries. They cross their own ethical, moral guidelines. And I think that's wrong. And I think
Which brings me to this big story about Hunter Biden and his laptop. Now, I'm sure you've been following the story, Sheldon. I mean, most people in North America have. But Hunter Biden's laptop was left at a repair shop in Delaware a couple of years ago. The guy waited, and nobody ever picked it up. So he started looking through it, and he found thousands of emails between Hunter Biden and implicating Joe Biden in corruption. The emails have been authenticated. People involved in the email said, yeah, I sent that email. That email came to me. The emails are true, but no media wanted to touch it except for Fox News. Because they wanted to protect Joe Biden because they hate Donald Trump.
See, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Now, this is a major news story that they did not cover. They absolutely ignored because they want to see Trump get out of office.
Well,
so tell me how right or wrong that is, Sheldon.
I said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm against Trump. I'm for pro unbiased media. Period. So if Biden does something wrong, if Clinton did something wrong, Hillary Clinton, if Bill Clinton did something wrong, they should be under the exact same media scrutiny. They should not be biased because they're running for the Democratic Party to get a pass. That's not what this is all about. Now, people make all types of mistakes. So the thing is, no human being is perfect, no matter which side of the coin you're on.
Really? Even you?
Even me.
Whoa.
Even me. Yes, you heard it first.
All right, so this is breaking news. Sheldon admits that he makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah. All right, smart Alec. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on, so yeah, I know. You missed me. But you know what? Politicians make mistakes all the time. And the thing is, okay, you give a certain pass, but if something like that, emails have gone out, authenticated emails gone out, then it's up to the media themselves to get to the root of the issue. And no matter if it's Biden, no matter if it's Trump or whoever, to get to the bottom of this. That's what media is all about. And the problem is, it's not just the media, it's the ownerships of the media. That's a real big problem.
Well, that's where it all comes from anyway, right? The ownership decides that they want their media to cover it in a certain way, and that's the way they cover
it.
Look, I told the story 100 times about the newspaper I worked for that tried to force me to change an article, and when I didn't, they changed it themselves and put my byline on it. So I mean, this publishers work this way, media moguls work this way, and they've been working this way forever.
Yeah, and all different types of media, press, television, and radio broadcasting, electronic broadcasting of all sorts. We even had a media situation here in Canada, which you and I know about, that the owner was implicated because he went too far, and he was. It was front page news in all the newspapers. Bell Media. It was front page news.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the thing was, I'm trying to remember if it was a person that was working in a newsroom that was trying to editorialize something or was trying to put a spin, his comment, and the owner did not want it and threatened to either pull that particular story. But the thing was, it was out there. Yes, it made all the newspapers. He was also in front of the CRTC. And that's the biggest corporate broadcasting empire in Canada.
Right.
Okay, so and it's not just limited here, and it's not just Bell. So it's not a question. I'm not being against Bell. It's all other major media. Like the small to medium companies, they still believe in the truth and the facts, but it's the big corporate owned media whose owners are interfering in the ethical, moral guidelines that when you and I first entered the media were promised to uphold. That's the problem.
Yeah, nobody's upholding those guidelines anymore.
No, and that's the thing, and that's what it completely turns me off politics completely. There's no question, because and the political leaders aren't helping when they're actually mudslinging, doing personal assassinations instead of one another. I'm not saying that Trump or Biden or Trudeau or O'Toole should be buddy-buddying, go out to a bar and have beers. I'm not saying they have to like each other. I'm only saying that they should at least respect one another. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, Sheldon. So there's a question that came in on Facebook. Will thousands of Americans storm into Canada if Trump wins?
Well, there's been no secret to a lot. What I've been seeing in the media also, that a lot of Americans wanted to travel elsewhere, to move elsewhere for one reason or another, and especially for Trump. When Trump first got in, I don't think a lot of Americans came into Canada, maybe a couple here and there, but certainly not a widespread thing. And we don't have the most perfect political system here in Canada either.
No, not at all.
Far from it.
In fact, our government's as corrupt as the American government. So, I mean,
thank you. Thank you.
There's no winning here.
No. And the thing is, we have our own political problems, and especially in our broadcast location.
We have a corrupt prime minister, and that's the problem. And then we're in the middle of a pandemic, which means that the government doesn't want to go to a new election. So, I mean, you're stuck with a corrupt prime minister.
Now, if you also notice when I was looking at some of the American press, and I'm sure you have too, the amount of people in the U.S. south of the border that's voting, there's a huge
amount, yeah.
Which I'm glad, because I've always said, no matter where you live, as long as you have the freedom to be able to cast your ballot, and that's why I'll never tell people who to vote for, but I will tell people to go out and vote and do your democratic duty. Because how many times have I seen, and really gets my goat, is when people complain and I'll ask them, did you vote? I'm not going to ask them who they voted for. That's their business. If they choose to tell me, that's their business. Am I going to tell them you're stupid? No. You have the right to vote whoever you want to vote for.
Right.
I'm just telling people to go out and vote. That's the ticket. And I'm not saying because I want Trump out, taken out of office. If Americans are really upset at the political system, then they should do something about it.
Do you think there's going to be a civil war if Trump wins the election?
No, I can't think it's going to be a civil war.
Okay, so I heard firsthand.
There's definitely been clashes, no question about it, about Trump supporters versus anti-Trump supporters, because it all also happened, with the death of this person in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Okay, I heard firsthand that cities across America are now preparing for riots that they're expecting to happen after the election, regardless of who wins. They're expecting riots, and businesses are boarding themselves up, and police are getting ready to deal with riots. Do you think we're going to have riots on Tuesday
Definitely.
night?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Why?
I
Why
would
do you
not.
think people would riot? What's there to riot about?
That's the problem. You see, that's a country that has changed so much. Because I used to go to the States very, very often.
Yeah.
And the last time I was in the States was I was with my significant other. We went to a beach in Plattsburgh, just over the border. And you know what? I have no, like, even if COVID is finished, would I want to go to the States now? And first of all, having my cell phone looked into, seeing what my Facebook postings are, seeing what, getting into my personal life, even though I've never broken the law, but getting my private life and getting the freedom that I have the right to state an opinion, no matter what the opinion is. Other than actually going out threatening a person, which I would never do, but to say that I would disagree with let's say a person of a political party of whatever, and not being allowed to go into the States, I think that's preposterous. I don't think there's going to be like whole cities complete lockdown and riots, but there will be areas of cities. First of all, the anti-Trump movement, to the point that once it was the death of that person,
Yeah.
Mr. Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd.
George Floyd. Because before that it was relatively calm, and then when this happened, all HE double hockey sticks broke loose, and it just kept going. And then there was the thing about when people were marching on a peaceful demonstration. Like I said, if people want to demonstrate, and in hundreds and millions of people, that's one thing. And I was saying this before COVID, okay?
Yeah.
That's one thing. If people are going to loot and hurt innocent people and smash businesses where innocent people are trying to make a living to support themselves and their family, I got a problem with looters. I have a problem with people that take a demonstration to the level of violence. It's one thing not to agree and to protest, but the peaceful protest will work strength in numbers. When you start looting, it completely diminishes of what the protests are all about. And that was the biggest problem. And then it started ballooning. And then when Trump decided to take a photo op to go across the street to a church, and it was a peaceful protest, and then you had...
The problem is it wasn't a peaceful protest.
Well,
they were throwing rocks and bottles at the police. There was video from the police that were there.
But I'm just saying.
From body cam videos, there were videos of the police getting pelted with bottles and rocks.
That even made matters even worse than it was. That's what I'm trying to say.
So
I'm not saying
they dispersed the crowd. They would have done that anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying, so there was riots on that.
The false narrative that was a peaceful protest is part of the media campaign to slander Trump. You could look at the body cam footage. It's available on YouTube of the Lafayette Park protest, and you could watch the body cam videos of the police officers that were there as they were being pelted by bottles and rocks and Molotov cocktails. So to say that this was a peaceful protest is really, really, really disingenuous.
No. What I'm trying to say is...
But what I'm saying is, to say it was a peaceful protest is disingenuous. It's not true.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is the protests, if you have a peaceful protest...
Yeah.
It'll mean a lot more than a protest and then infiltrated by looters, because looters will completely diminish whatever the people that, let's say, organize the protest meeting in good standing. It'll completely annihilate the protest itself. So what I'm saying is, if you have a peaceful protest, this is what I'm trying to tell you. No matter where the protest is going to be, no matter what country in the world, if it's peaceful and people go out in numbers and it's a respectful protest, and let's say petitions are signed, and then that'll weigh a lot more than you get protests of hundreds of thousands of people, but then 50 people decide, or 100 people, or 1,000, let's say 1,000, okay, out of argument's sake, they take that protest and they feel that they could smash businesses, hurt people, do violence on police, attempt to try to do violence on the president of the United States, or wherever politician, wherever country it is around the world, that completely annihilates everything. All that hard work, all that organization is completely down the tubes. It means nothing. So the problem is, if there would be protests, peaceful protests, no matter who wins the election on Tuesday, that's one thing. If there's going to be violence and looting and people taking Molotov cocktails and smashing it into business, or taking cars and smashing into windows of buildings and hurting innocent people, then I have a very serious problem with this.
1-877-669-1292 to get in on the conversation. I'm Howie Silbiger. He's Sheldon Freed. This is the Howie Silbiger Show. We're taking your calls at 1-877-669-1292. Do you think that there'll be a peaceful, demonstrations after the election? Do you think it'll be rioting? Do you think people will get hurt? What do you think? 1-877-669-1292. I think that that the people who take advantage of situations, and there are people who take advantage of these kind of situations, are going to go out and take advantage of this situation too, and riot and drive the police crazy. And then the people who take advantage of the situations of the people who are rioting, so they take advantage of the situation of the people who are taking advantage of the situation. I know it sounds a little convoluted, but that's what it is. Will complain that that is police brutality and that the police are cracking down too hard on people who are rioting and stealing from the Gap. It is absolutely ridiculous to think that the results of an election should result in rioting and looting. We haven't had that. You haven't seen that in the United States in the past, and the fact that it's happening now is a testament. Is a testament to the incitement that the media has done for the last 4 years. Now, that's what I have to say. The media caused this. This is a full media creation, and now it's out of control, and the media can't control it. It's totally out of control. But it was created by the media over the last 4 years, by the Democratic Party and the media. I will even go that far and say by the Democratic Party and the media, who tried to demonize Trump from the day he was not inaugurated, and riled people up to the point where now they're just looting and killing people and destroying property. Without any regard to law and order or anything else. And it's very scary and it's very sad, and it's very sad to see the destruction of the wonderful country. It was really a great country, the United States of America. It pains me to my heart to watch this.
Well, there's no question about it. That's the thing with the United States. It was probably one of the most freest, the most democratic country in the world. And you know what? The media, as much as, and I agree with what you're saying 100%, that the media, the Democratic Party, is fully responsible for that, because I am against any party, Democratic or Republican, that uses the media for its political gain. That's number one. Number two, the media is not going to say that they're sorry, because they're way past that. And the thing is, it's going to take really a major reorganization and a more of a progressive approach to the media to say, hey, listen, our responsibility is to report the facts and ask the questions. That's it. We're not going to have any influence from the liberals, the conservatives, the Democrats, or the Republicans. We are our own independent body, fully capable of making our own decisions, asking the questions, and get to the root of the issues and the questions, so people have the right to get unbiased, unfiltered information. And that's what really peeves me off about the media. And I can't be any more unbiased than what I'm saying right now.
I'm not sure that the media could ever get back to that standard.
It'll never get back.
I don't think there's any way for it to get back there.
Howie, not the way it's going. No. I mean, it is not even close. It's not even, they haven't even done any kind of planning to even think of going back to its original roots. I mean,
basically the media is the root of democracy, because you need a free press in order to ask politicians questions.
Exactly.
To ask politicians questions and hold politicians accountable for their actions. Now, when the media colludes with one side against the other side, which is what has happened for the last 4 years, that form of democracy has disappeared. That
If
form
you
of
think
scrutiny
about
has
it, it's almost
disappeared.
like communism, where
And you-
government would control the media,
Yeah,
and
of
the media
course.
would do exactly so.
State-run media.
Yeah. So the thing is, we don't want to have a state-run media, obviously. We don't want to have a media that's controlled by an essential party or ownership that's.
But we're already there,
you know,
Sheldon. We're already there.
We're already there.
And
That's the problem.
It started with the candidacy of Barack Obama at the beginning of his term, when he first became a candidate, and they didn't vet him at all. They just gave him a free pass.
You know why they gave him a free pass?
And it continued for 8 years of Obama, and then for 4 years of Trump, they didn't give him a pass on anything. It was the exact flip opposite.
And that's why I said that was wrong. I told you that before. I said what they did with Obama.
And now they're going back to doing what they did with Obama. They're going back to with Joe Biden. And it's 100%
well, that's wrong. That's wrong again. And if I wasn't clear to people, or if I wasn't clear to you, I'm going to state it again. Media has to be unbiased and get to the facts. So whether or not it's Biden, they shouldn't give Biden a pass. They shouldn't give Trump a pass. They should not have given Obama a pass. So I cannot be any more clear. Play back this video. Play back the replay of the show, people, because I am for pro unbiased media. Period.
Jason writes on Facebook, the media should not be giving personal opinions. That's the problem. And
exactly.
I agree with him. You're right.
I agree with Jason. He's 100%, 1,000,000% right.
There is an opinion page in every newspaper, and the opinion page is for opinion. Everything else should be news.
Well, that's exactly it. And that's the difference that was the difference between, let's say, talk show hosts in electronic media and people that were doing opinions. That's a separate entity and a separate moral guidelines. If you wanted to if you're a talk show host and want to do an opinion piece, that's one thing. But if you're a newscaster, if you're in media, and look, I'm a newscaster on call for a corporate medium media, not a big one like I was.
Yeah.
I have to say the facts. I can't slant anything. I can't. I'm not allowed to slant anything. I take the facts. I read them. That's it. I don't do any sarcastic remarks. That's my job. That's the job. That's what I signed up for. That's what I'm proud to represent. That's my job. When I
come onto this show or I post on Facebook, I'm expressing my opinion. I'm not a journalist. I'm an opinion host. I'm expressing my opinion.
That's it.
If I was doing a news show and supplying the news, then I would not include my opinion. Then I would just do the news straight, as if as objectively as possible. But I don't do a news show. I do an opinion show. It's a topical opinion show, but it's an opinion show. It's my opinion.
But the thing is, when you do an opinion show,
yeah.
Okay, you also are, when it comes to debates, you don't slant towards the right. You don't slant towards the left. You ask questions directed at everybody, and you don't ask easier questions.
Well, if I'm moderating a debate between two sides,
that's what I mean.
Then of course, I'm not going to favor one side over the other.
That's what I mean. And because a moderator is almost like a newscaster.
That's right.
Because so it is like a newscaster, because you gotta put everything in perspective.
Exactly. So if I'm moderating a debate, if I have you on. If I have you on as a left-winger and I have a right-winger on and I'm in the middle, I'm really going to hold back on my opinion because I want to hear your opinions. That's the whole idea of you being there.
Exactly.
So if I'm moderating here, we're having a discussion, so I can express my opinion. But if there were two of you on with me and I was moderating a discussion between the two of you, I wouldn't express my opinion. I'd just ask you questions.
But you see, the thing is, and this goes out to people, that we respect one another's opinion.
That's true.
And I just wish that if you and I can do it, other people can do it. And if more people were to do that, like even if we disagree on something, we don't do character assassinations. You say your viewpoint, I see my viewpoint.
Let me tell you about Sheldon.
Here we go. He also has a comedic side to him.
Sheldon Freed.
Howie Silbiger
loves eating chicken legs. I don't know why. I don't know why he loves eating chicken legs. But Sheldon is a chicken leg lover.
Oh, I got a leg to stand on, that's why. Now I'm more vegetarian.
There, I have now assassinated your character, my friend.
But you know,
Vegetarians and vegans hate you now.
But but I really wish that the politicians, the media, I really wish they would really get back to respecting one another's viewpoints. I do too,
because I'm really,
because you know what, that will attract more people.
It's actually infuriating when you're watching news, or when you're listening to a talk show, or you're reading a newspaper, and it's just constantly, repeating a lie or repeating a fabrication or expanding on something that never really happened, or it just drives me crazy. I mean, what happened to good old-fashioned journalism? It just
vanished.
That's
what I mean. That's what you and I try to do every week.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it for 23 years. I've been doing it for 7 here, and I've been doing it for 30 back at CJD and everything.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people have to realize that a lot of other people are just totally fed up. They're fed up because of character assassination. They're fed up instead of getting to the facts, to the issues. So let's say if you see a Democrat and you hate the Democrats, like you hate the issues of the Democrats, you're not hating the person of the Democrats. You're hating what they're saying in terms of, you're hating what they stand for in the issues, but you don't hate the person.
That's right. Don't shoot the messenger. Right.
Don't shoot the messenger. And that's the thing. And people have to know the difference, and that line, that very specific line, don't cross the line.
Okay.
If you hate a policy, if you hate a viewpoint, that's one thing. Fine. That's what you go to the polls for. That's what you vote for.
All right. So I just wanted to let the audience know that that I will be on Tuesday night for Political Hitman at midnight on Tuesday. Hopefully by midnight we will have a result of the election. There's no guarantee, but hopefully by midnight we will have a result of the election, and I will be able to discuss it with you on Political Hitman at midnight on Tuesday here on the True Talk Radio Network. So please join me at midnight on Tuesday, and we could discuss this. You could call in. We could have a discussion on it. We will be live on True Talk Radio and the True Talk Radio Network everywhere you're listening or watching us now. And I will also be live on the Israel News Talk Radio Network with Political Hitman. So we'll be able to discuss this, the election, on Tuesday. But right now, speaking of news, my friend Sheldon Eric Freed, the producer of the show, the greatest newsman in the history of the business.
Oh, I love this. He's sucking up. That's fantastic. I love this.
Has prepared a newscast for you, for news that you may not have heard over the course of the week. And I turned the microphones and the video phones and all the other phones that we have here. I turn everything over to my friend Sheldon, who will now regale you with the news.
Well, you know what? You just to say to all you people, you heard it here first. See, so we're going away from politics, and we talk about somebody throwing a surprise funeral for a person. Now,
whoa! Did you say a surprise funeral?
Yeah.
A surprise funeral.
Like I said, you heard it here first, people.
Surprise funeral.
Because, all
right.
When you think of birthday parties, Howie, we might imagine bright-colored streamers, cake, and lots of fun and games. But when one man arrived at a celebration to mark his 33rd year of living, this is not exactly what greeted him. Instead, Ellie McCann found himself walking into his very own funeral. His boyfriend, Skylar Westergy, who's now his husband, has come up with the quirky idea to throw him a funeral because he felt that people shouldn't have to die in order for their friends to say why they love them. Skylar decorated a friend's house for the occasion, creating a fake casket made out of an ironing board and pillows. I know Halloween just passed yesterday. He also hung up photos of Ellie around the place and arranged for all of his guests to dress in black. Talk about men in black, eh? Number
this is
two.
The oddest story I've ever heard, Sheldon.
Well, that's why I said we hear the funny and strange news here first. with yours truly, Sheldon Eric Freed, on the True Talk Radio Network on the Howie Silbiger Show. Number 2, hungover woman's McDonald's meal raises eyebrows when people see her receipt. A woman's unconventional McDonald's meal has left people scratching their heads. Katie Poole, a mom based in Toronto, made the request after enjoying one too many drinks with her partner Jody. But when it came to ordering her burger, Katie was very specific about what she wanted and made multiple modifications. A receipt of Katie's showed that she asked for a burger with no mustard, no onions, no pickles, no bun, and no hamburger patty, with the only ingredients remaining being ketchup.
What?
And the delivery receipt, the delivery bill is marked as follows. Hamburger, no regular bun. Hamburger, no mustard. Hamburger, no onion relish. Hamburger, no pickles. Hamburger, no reg patty. Her husband explained, so we had a few drinks last night. Katie decided a McDonald's hamburger will cure her hangover.
So she ordered a package of ketchup.
Ketchup, and it was marked in the receipt. Now, Katie is the type of person who will make modifications to a classic no pickles, no onions, etc., he added. So this is what she ordered. No pickles, no onions, no mustard, no bun, no patty. They literally sent us 2 ketchup packets.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I guess she didn't deserve I guess she didn't deserve a break that day.
No. Not at all.
She wound up getting away, but I guess she got a hangover to get away to her nearest McDonald's store.
So strange.
Number 3, a woman ambushes fiancé at work in wedding dress, demanding he marry her or she's done. So could you imagine, okay, you're a shopper in Target.
Yeah.
And you would get a shock when you would see a bride roaming the aisles with a pastor and bridesmaid following closely behind her.
She brought the priest with her?
Yes. The unnamed woman was looking for a fiancé who was working in the store in Las Vegas, otherwise known as Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, seriously.
Dressed in a white wedding gown, carrying a bouquet, she ambushed her partner while he was stocking shelves with Halloween costumes, demanding he marry her right here and then. The eyebrow-raising scene was captured on camera and shared in 2 videos on TikTok by a user named BoyMomAshley, and it has gone viral, with the footage being watched by over 5 million times and gathering over 580,000 likes.
That's crazy.
In one clip, the bride could be heard saying, "You put this ring on my finger 2 years ago, and it's time to do it or get out. Yeah, we're getting married right now, or I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm done. Like, if you don't marry this second, I brought a pastor. I brought Emily. She's my bridesmaid." By this point, a crowd has gathered in the shop to watch the drama unfold. The bride turned to the onlookers and waved, explaining that she's just trying to get her guy to finally commit. Like the sands in the hourglass, Howie, so goes the days of our lives.
Did he get married to her?
I don't know.
We don't know the end of the story.
Who knows if he's even alive?
They didn't report the end of the story?
They didn't. That's the latest I heard.
Holy.
So
what?
So who knows? Maybe he held her hostage at the nearest Target store.
How can we have that story and not have the end of the story?
Well, that's anybody's guess.
I gotta see if I can find the end of that story, because where was that? What city was that in?
This was. Let me see. I don't even know if it was marked the city here. No, it was not marked the city.
Right,
but
I'll find it.
Yeah, but if we do get an update, you will hear it here first on the True Talk Radio Network. Number 4. Who knows? Maybe she might be holding him hostage. or maybe I guess she wants to make sure that he's always in stock for her.
That's so crazy.
Okay, the fourth item. I hired an escort and my best friend's mom turned up. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Since joining the Army 6 years ago, James has found it difficult to hold down a relationship. Because don't forget, in an Army, you travel, you're away for long periods at a time, which makes dating and finding someone special extremely tricky. However, he missed the physical sides of a relationship, so he decided to try hiring escorts, saying he makes the best of a very unique situation. I guess Uncle Sam wanted him. His fun, sexy nights have become part of his normal routine, and he's never thought too much of it until one evening when things got very, very weird, when one of his anonymous bookings ended up being his mate's mom. The site he used saw him order an escort using just photos of the woman's body, but you couldn't see the face. He told the Mirror Online, using escorts means I can satisfy my sexual needs with no strings attached. In my mind, I'm making the best of a very unique situation. I always book escorts, no matter where I'm stationed with the Army. When I last came home after being injured, I couldn't wait to book someone. I was buzzing. I have always had a thing for the MILF, so I decided to go for a woman who had a very sexy head mistress vibe. She didn't know her face in her photos. She didn't show her face in her photos, but her body and what she said she'd do on her profile was enough to grab my attention. They set a time and a place, and 45 minutes later, a call pulled up, but James was horrified when he opened up the door of the car. He said, I opened the door, and who stood in front of me? My best friend's mom. I just thought, whoops, this is awkward. He claims that, while he had no idea what to do, the friend's mom took control of the situation and acted as if they did not know one another. He said, she proceeded with the appointment like we didn't even know each other. Could you imagine? I was obviously attracted to her. It was a weird turn of events, but it actually added to the excitement you want and what you can have, and I knew I should not carry on. There wasn't exactly much talking going on. We got right to it, no messing about. However, they did address the issue after they were finished with a mutual understanding that it had to be kept a secret.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about right here on the show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it was a real good secret.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it is with electronic media. Be careful.
How horrifying.
We did make a clear agreement at the end that it would have to be kept a secret. No one could know. Unsurprisingly, James had decided he will never tell his friend about what happened. No
Unless
kidding.
he reads it in the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. But he told the newspaper exactly.
Right.
He told the Mirror. He said, I honestly don't know how I would even start that conversation.
Well, through the Mirror.
Exactly. The fact I've seen her on several occasions since would also make it 100 times worse for obvious reasons.
Obviously.
But to make things even more horrifyingly awkward, James knows that his pal uses the same escort directory. And that's, once again, funny and strange things in the news on the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Back to you.
Okay, I said the first story was the oddest story, but no. The last story was pretty damn odd, too, Sheldon.
Well, that's why I said I come up with these things. You got to admit, they're interesting.
Yeah, interesting is one way to put them, yeah. Just an update on the story that you told before about the Bridezilla and her man in Target.
We got an update. Okay.
According to TMZ, they got married.
Where, at Target?
Yeah, I think so. All right, so here's the TMZ story. I'll read it to you. One woman must have had Elvis lyrics in her head as she stormed into a Target hunting for a fiancé in a bride's dress and demanded a hand in marriage. It's now or never. So they have the video of it, actually. So if you want to check out the video, go to TMZ. It's there.
It's now or never.
Check out this video of a gal on a mission to walk down the aisle, but first having to pursue other types of aisles so that she could confront her Target employee hubby-to-be with a minister in tow. Eventually finds him in stocking something, and it pops off. Customers recorded the awkward scene, and you could make out the gist of what's happening here. Bridezilla tells her man she wants to get married right there and then, or she's ending things between them for good. The ultimate ultimatum. She says she put an engagement ring on her finger 2 years ago. but hasn't pulled the trigger yet, and she's sick of waiting. The dude is clearly uncomfortable and asks her if they could talk outside. The woman agrees, but it sounds like her mind is made up. It's funny, too, as the caravan of people pass the photog, you can see the fiancé say something to the effect, "Could someone have told me then?" Sounds like he was caught as much off guard as anyone else witnessing the bizarre love blitz. Now, we should note, some people are saying this is a stunt. If so, boo. But it's still pretty crazy to see it played on video. Assuming it's real, good luck. No question who the dominant one for this happy couple is.
Jeez, I wonder if they're going to go for a honeymoon in Walmart.
Oh my gosh.
She might ditch him and she might go for the person who's stocking shelves at Walmart. Who knows?
What a crazy story.
Or Costco. Yeah, well, you see, people, you heard it here first on the Howie Silbiger shows on Funny and Strange Things in the News. Yes.
All right, Sheldon, that's it. We're all out of time. I want to thank you.
It's been a blast.
I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I will be back once again. I will be back on Tuesday night at midnight, where we will have Political Hitman. It will be here on True Talk Radio and on the Israel News Talk Radio network. We will be talking about the American elections, of course, on Tuesday night. Tuesday is the election day in America. We'll be talking about the American elections on Tuesday night, and hopefully, by the time midnight comes around, we will have an answer on who the next president is going to be. So until then, I bid you a great night and a great week, and I'll see you again Tuesday night on Political Hitman, right here on the True Talk Radio Network. Thanks for joining us.